start recording, and then it goes, "Are you sure you want to start recording?" So I hit record, but didn't hit the. I don't know why.
It's live. It's live now. I see it in the top corner. Now,
Oh, sorry, pal.
no worries.
So, okay, great.
It was a good start.
Let me have another run up at that.
No worries.
Well, wow, it's my great pleasure to introduce Nicolas Willson to the show. Nicolas is the founder of Futsol. How are we doing today, Nico?
Hi, Peter. Yes, very well, thanks. How are you?
Great. Let's have another run of this. We had a dry run, and I forgot to hit record. So this time around, the red buttons are live. Nico, please, for the uninitiated, can you just give us an introduction to yourself and your background coming into the brand, please?
Sure. So I was born and raised in London. Always a big sportsman, keen sportsman, whether football, rugby, tennis, cricket, skiing, etc. A big part of my life and growing up. I moved to New York for college, undergraduate, and then did a graduate degree in journalism in New York. And it was during that period where I was sort of entering the world of digital media, content marketing, journalism, and when brands, the sort of D2C brands of our generation, the Caspers, etc., were creating digital content and sort of publishing their own magazines and storytelling. And it was when I really started to think about brand building, and the brand that I really was attracted to at the time, mainly through their sort of YouTube videos and amazing aesthetic, was Rafa, the cycling brand from London, which I came across during that period and spent a lot of time in the coffee shop, and was a big inspiration for me and what they've created.
I see. So going from New York, coming back to London, is that when you discovered futsal? Was it kind of on the plane on the way over?
Yeah, it was a sort of, I was playing a lot of amateur football after work on a sort of Wednesday, Thursday night in New York. And I recognized that, the experience of playing football hadn't changed for me for 20 years. All around me, there were these experiences from yoga studios and Pilates, and whether it's Barry's boot camp or where you captured a community and people stayed and hung out at the bar afterwards and had a shower and got changed and went back to work. Football was still, you turn up, you pay a fiver to the organizer. It's all done on WhatsApp, all very manual. Someone's dropping out last minute. You've got to find a ringer from the side of the pitch. And I was always just a bit disappointed that this experience that obviously so many of us loved and was a huge highlight of our week was often badly organized and sort of hadn't really evolved, in the past 20 years. So I've always thought there was an opportunity to bring the amateur football experience to another level, which is something that we're aiming to do, first through product and then through experiences and community.
Maybe we should also just describe what futsal is, and perhaps you'll be best placed to do that. How do you describe it to your friends at us?
Sure. So we call it a sort of lifestyle destination for football lovers. We produce primarily football apparel that's suitable both on and off the pitch, that isn't tied to any professional team or clubs. I always felt, as a big football fan myself, I would never wear, or I would rarely buy any football kit. People I was playing with were often wearing, Lululemon shorts or old cotton rock and roll t-shirts to play. There was rarely any sort of new Nike, Adidas, Man United or Chelsea gear. And I started making me think, as a consumer, there weren't many options for me. And I was, wasn't buying football specific apparel. So I thought there was an opportunity to create something that is obviously football in its design aesthetics, but it may be a bit softer in terms of graphics without sponsorship and garish Chevrolet logos and brighter colors suited for the television. I thought there was something possible, a bit softer and I guess a bit more stylish.
And also without a name on the back, with a player that's going to get sold in the transfer window that maybe only lasts like 6 months, and now you're stuck with like a 180-pound top that you can't wear because he's gone to your rival team. So are there shirts athleisure in terms of, can you play football in these? Are they designed for playing football in the park, or are they designed for more kind of social events and going out?
Definitely. So something we noticed early on in doing a bit of research amongst players and friends is, as I said, people were playing in cotton t-shirts, in old vintage gear from the 80s, and it didn't seem to affect their performance. So we realized, the newest Nike dry fit and Adidas, extra tight Spurs jersey doesn't make your five-a-side performance much better. So yeah, we realized that there is a possibility to use these fabrics that are obviously sweat wicking and have the performance of athletic fabrics, but are also more suitable for leisure wear. Something we're looking at is a lot of our fabrics are sort of piqué polyester, which is that sort of old cotton style where you have a bit of a sort of variation in the fabric. It's not totally flat, and we're looking at bringing in older fabrics that were used in the 80s and 90s, such as merino and wool, into our performance base. So it's a mix of modern polyesters and old traditional sports fabrics.
And are you designing these yourself, or are you kind of recruiting?
We have a design team. Luke and the Toms. Luke is a sort of advisor / sort of creative director, who is an ex-Rafa and Tracksmith. I'm not sure if you know the running brand out of Boston. But yeah, he's been helping from the early days, setting the positioning and trying to find a space where we are definitely not competing with the Nike and Adidases of the world, because it's pretty impossible.
Well, what's the point? Yeah. So how old is the brand now then?
So it's definitely a COVID story. Launched late last year, sort of this time last year actually, with our first collection of 4 jerseys, different colors. And we quite consciously decided from the get-go that we would stick to perfecting the football jersey and our take on it first. So we've done a few different designs, collaborations, some more sort of graphic influence, some more understated, just to get a sense of how we can produce these, how the supply chain works, who our different suppliers are, timelines, etc. And now we're looking to sort of expand that. We've landed our first retail partner, launching for the World Cup. And we are expanding the product range to sort of create a capsule collection, which we'll be presenting early next year.
Cool. And was the World Cup always like a destination in your mind when you were starting the brand, as to we'll soft market it, but then really hope to get on the jet flames of the World Cup and catapult the brand further?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think in general, there's so much noise around the World Cup. Every brand is obviously trying to do something football oriented. So, maybe it was a strategic decision to actually stay away from it while we're so small, and we don't want to compete on keywords in such a popular moment, although we're not doing much digital ads, but it wouldn't really make sense. What it does definitely make sense is a sort of what we'll be doing later this month is sort of our first test events for community building. So bringing people together in an environment where we can share the brand story and sort of test our assumption of people wanting to watch football in a nice environment, not the sort of standard lager-filled pub where you don't know who you're standing next to and what they're going to be shouting.
Which is great, by the way, when you're in your mid-20s, I've discovered. You're in the middle of Wetherspoons, but also, I mean, I remember doing that, watching one of the World Cups, the South Africa World Cup. So I guess I'm in early 30s by that point. But it was a real convivial atmosphere. All of my mates, everyone from construction, and we're all just waiting for a goal. But the tournament was so miserable. I mean, that was the one where we absolutely got tonked by Germany as well. I think 4-1. Somewhere down there. But all you want to do when you're a fan in the pub is for us to score a goal. Like when it's a drudgy 0-0, or like there's nothing going on in the game and we're crap, or we get tonked 4-1. The pub is actually the worst place to be, because people have just been there pretty much all day, and now they can't get all of that. They can't vent, can they? They can't get all of that stuff out by cheering on anything. So they kind of take that and trailblaze that into the streets afterwards, and it becomes something else.
The atmosphere turns pretty sour quite quickly.
Yeah. Sorry, I digress. I've just recapped a load of my World Cup days in the pub. So yeah, much more now. I'm in my 40s. Very much got to watch it on the telly at home and put my tops on and invite the guys around and have that kind of that atmosphere at home in safe quarters.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, just going back to what you're saying though about having something. I mean, you didn't plan it to be on the back of the World Cup, but something that could also get swallowed up in that time. I remember I had a book launch with my book about James Bond's style, and the film No Time to Die was coming out. I thought, this would be perfect. Release the book, the film comes out, and then we just discovered, this is just going to get swallowed up. And you want to release a book around this time and compete with like trailers on TV and brands bringing out their own stuff like jumpers and anyway, so we were kind of 50-50 really with what to do with that. It was tricky.
Yeah, no, it always seems like a good idea, and then you realize actually maybe it's best to just sit this one out and wait until there's a bit more power behind you to actually have an impact.
But did you find when there was pandemic and lockdown that people had more time on their hands anyway? So in order to get hold of people that might be hard to reach, like that perhaps were too busy to pick up the phone, they had almost a lot of downtime. So it was quite good to create a project like this because it was, people were more accessible. Did you find that?
Yeah, I think what was really noticeable was how we were all remote. I was in the UK, another was in Spain, two others were in Margate. So it was really started online, this brand, and through Zoom. Which was fascinating to see. And what did get difficult was as soon as there's sort of products to touch and feel and fabric choices, sending that round the world 4 times and getting each person to touch and feel it gets a bit more difficult. That's where you really want everyone in the same room, where you can pin stuff up and sort of just make decisions quickly. Thankfully now we're able to do that and can move a bit faster. But yeah, that was definitely a learning.
And you mentioned that you got a retail partner now. So how's that shaped up?
Yeah, we're excited. They're about to launch in the next 2 weeks. I think it's sort of still under wraps. But yeah, we'll see. It's a big store on Oxford Street. So we'll see. It's a bit of a different target audience to who we had initially imagined. But they approached us. We're excited to see how that will come through.
That's much better. I mean, I know that you must be pitching it around as well and hoping that people become aware of the brand, but for them to come to you must be quite gratifying.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think it's always nice to have that, and come January we'll be pitching to others, so we'll hopefully get a few more on board.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm always intrigued, Nico, when I much rather talk to brands that are startups and they're in their kind of infancy, as it were. I know you've been going a couple of years, but rather than like the household name brands and getting people on like designers and stuff, because I feel like a lot of people are in your position that want to start a brand, maybe don't know how, but also don't really know how to raise capital. So that's always my most interesting point of a discussion. Definitely. Is how you got the capital to raise this, get the brand off the ground.
Definitely. Now is not an easy time in general, especially for consumer brands. I think the days of the Warby Parkers and the Caspers and the D2C brands out in New York, where there was sort of a big differentiation, those days are finished. And I think people are aware that the growth trajectory from a consumer brand is very different to that of a sort of software SaaS startup. So yeah, I mean, we started with a very small friends and family round, and we're still relying on that. We don't have major plans to go to VC or that kind of route. Potentially, we would be looking at more strategic investment from an ex-footballer or someone who celebrity, big fan of the sport, who could become an ambassador for the brand. That would obviously be a more clear route for us. But also we want to build something that's sustainable from the start. So hence the wholesale model for us has become quite important, and that's something we're sort of pivoting towards, with the idea to grow the direct to consumer side with the wholesale side, so we can actually have retail partners who are showcasing the brand and finding our audience through them, as well as sort of playing around on the D2C side and figuring that out.
Yeah, it must be quite interesting to have an ambassador that's an ex-footballer. I'm trying to think of someone that's more suited. I mean, Lineker's always a safe bet, isn't he? I mean, I don't think he's good, because you also have to think down the road, like what footballer might get embroiled in a scandal at any point in time, right? You think, we have to pull everything, all those photos we did and everything. So yeah, trying to pinpoint someone, but also that's not so divisive. So if like you throw it on Gary Neville, no Liverpool fan's going to be buying your gear, right? So trying to find that balance.
I think that's also why we're looking at, not only I think the nostalgia aspect to our sort of target audience, maybe feel closer to ex-players than current players, but also obviously the current players associated with their clubs predominantly. So I think that's something we wouldn't say no to Harry Kane coming to us, but it's something we would not necessarily approach.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be picking up the phone, even if you have to, say goodbye to a lot of Gunners supporters that might be buying your brand. But, oh, damn it!
Exactly.
Cool. Well, Nico, the brand looks terrific. I was just showing a couple of screen grabs here. We'll be putting this on YouTube so people can have an idea and a little flavour. Obviously, you can check out the brand at futsol.co, and we'll put all the links over on the show notes. But did you do all the photos yourself? Was it all kind of in-house? Because they look fantastic.
Yeah, so it's something we were thinking about, and I think the pandemic sort of started this. Each project is sort of, let's call it a capsule. So this one you're showing now is a printed goods collaboration. That was with a specific photographer who was introduced by the two guys, a friend of theirs, and we always think that the connection between the subject and the photographer is always helpful. There's a general relaxed atmosphere around the subject. They don't feel tight and uneasy. So at the moment, it's all been with a few different people here and there, but we do feel long term having a sort of in-house style that's immediately recognizable is probably beneficial for that consistency. We look at brands like Aimé Leon d'Or, which is one of our favorite pinups, and what they just do so well is their styling and consistency and look. And they've been copied everywhere, but you still know which one's the authentic one. So yeah, I think that's important moving forward. But yeah, we did a shoot in Rio, and that was really just finding local photographers who we could send some product to, and have them shoot it in their own style and way. And that turned out really well.
The cat just jumped on the laptop and pressed a load of buttons. So that doesn't mean anything to people listening, but it just
still recording.
Still recording. I think he didn't completely sabotage it. And so, any plans to get into bricks and mortar outside of the concessions that you might have with the retailers? Are you going to do anything like a pop-up to test the market?
Yeah, I think definitely down the line, our vision, much like the Rafa style, is to have these sort of clubhouses where people could come and watch games, have a retail floor where people can browse and speak about product and speak about football with like-minded audiences, have a space where you can watch games in a nice environment with familiar faces, and even have your leagues and games organized through the brand. I always felt, if I were to go to New York for business now and I wanted to play a game of pickup football on a Wednesday night, it'd be pretty much impossible to have to sort of text around old groups and probably get ignored. So I'd end up sort of standing at pitch side, like with my hand in the air, hoping for someone to drop out and get in. But ideally I could just book a slot and turn up and play with some people, and that would be the dream. So that's hopefully something where we can get to in the near future.
So what's your position? I mean, five-a-side. Is it five-a-side just kind of like a free-for-all? Like you don't really have defense, mid, and attack? Or am I not doing it any justice?
Yeah, loosely. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think probably the smaller it is, the more loose the positions are. But yeah, I've graduated from being at the top of the pitch to slowly further back towards the goal. As I've gotten older.
At least you're still on the pitch, though. Well, Nico, thanks for jumping on. I really, really dig the brand. I kind of like the idea of wearing something that's fun and being around football, but not so on the nose, like you say, that you have to wear something so logo heavy. Because, I mean, even though I follow a team, I don't follow logos as such. I don't wear any logos outside of what I might wear on my football top. So having something like you guys actually does a fix for me. So, yeah,
Great.
really liked it. Where do you like to hang out? Where's your social channels and people can find you?
Yeah, we're on Instagram at futsol.co, futsol.co. That's the website. And yeah, we're only on Instagram right now, but if you subscribe to the newsletter, we'll be sending updates about any events that are happening in London. And yeah, hopefully see some people at some World Cup events and screenings.
Where are you going to watch it? Have you got your seat booked anyway?
It's difficult around me. All the pubs have sort of given up on showing football on TV. So I think it's more everywhere sort of reduced. They've all become gastro pubs and sort of given up on the football crowd. So predominantly at home or with friends. But yeah, we've got a few places in mind where I'll book a table.
All right. Well, I mean, I know we were talking earlier about perhaps sitting in and watching it on the comfy telly and in your comfy socks and on your comfy sofa, but there is still something to be said about going to the pub. It's just, for me, it's getting actually to watch the game. I mean, down our local, I mean, I follow a team that was in the final, and I booked my seat. I have a seat in my pub each time I watch the game, and then I've been watching it all the way through, and then it comes to the final. I've booked my table. I'm just surrounded by bastards in the pub, but they're not on the table, but they're all around, so I can't actually see the TV, even though from my table. So I can't even see the game. Which is infuriating.
Yeah, it's always a shame.
But we have to live with it. Anyway, Nico, from me and from the cat, it's been great talking to you, and I hope to catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me.
Mate.
Cheers.
Sorry about this. He only likes to come on. I'll have to send you a picture. He was pretty much just stationed right here with his tail up like that. I'll send you a picture of.
I saw you were blocking it with an image. So.
I was basically talking to the cat with you over his. Sorry about that. But yeah,
no
great fun. I'll get this over to Craig and we'll get this up and running.
Good man. Great.
All right.
Thanks, Peter.
See you, mate.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
All right.